When we launch our organization, we're not doing gun shit. We're not. If we grow, we might do some shooting range stuff and, you know, like rifle club kind of thing, all completely legal, you know, and that has to depend on the level of our popularity and integration in the masses. But we are not starting out that way. We're not starting out an organization of people who use tactics of intimidation and violence. I don't want any violent, intimidating people whatsoever. Your job is going to be to go down to the people, make your case, help people, prove yourself by leadership. I hate this disgusting faggot violent shit. You know, violence is always a tragedy. It's in the context of a political event, like a civil war or a revolution. But beyond that, there's no reason anybody should. We use it as a metaphor. It's hypothetical, right? Not hypothetical. It's a metaphor. Like it's like poetry, right? Like we're fighting the info war. It doesn't mean we're actually fighting. You know, Donald Parkinson said some crazy shit. You know, I hope I've never seen anything that confirms what he's saying, but holy shit, where does that even come from, right? Yeah, straight. I mean, people are like, Haas, aren't you a violent person? No, not in a political sense. On a personal level, do I want to punch people's faces and shit? Yeah, on a personal level of personal beef. Politically speaking, no. Do you want to know what's important, guys? Let me tell you what's important. If ordinary Americans are following the law, so should you. If ordinary Americans obey the law and be law-abiding citizens, what gives you the right? What gives you the right to break out of that? And we're like, Haas, what about the Bolsheviks or whatever? That was an autocracy. People had no rights. It wasn't like people were citizens with rights or something. It was a straight-up autocracy where they were serfs and they were slaves and they were under the whip directly, okay? They didn't have the basic democratic rights. Ordinary Americans don't follow. They do politically. That's what I'm talking about. We follow the law. Matter of fact, I'm going to go on a limb and say some crazy ass shit. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to just nuke the discourse right now. So, in a lot of minority neighborhoods and impoverished areas, police are corrupt as fuck, and police act as scumbags. And a lot of the times, police are corrupt as fuck, acting like scumbags. And I get that. That's true. But you know what? Here's what I'm going to nuke the discourse. That's a case-by-case basis. That is a case-by-case basis. Police are not always evil. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's a case-by-case. Now, federal agencies are different, okay? But local police in a small town that everyone likes, that exists. That's a thing sometimes. And I get that in their creation, the police were inherently, you know, that was like a direct class enemy from its inception. But after the New Deal, where they started to have a standardized public service kind of thing, it's not that different from even, you know, it's not that different from, you know, I don't know what they call them. Now, I think we should reform the police. Cops are good. That's not what I'm saying. You know, it's a case-by-case basis. But it's always a case-by-case basis. But I don't believe in this blank check, just straight up blank check, make enemies of the police everywhere you go. I'm launching an organization. Why is it smart to just right off the bat make enemies of the police? It's not smart. Okay? Follow the law. And if you're in a small town where the police do not have an antagonistic relationship to the people, which does exist sometimes, you know, and you need permits to do protests or whatever, you should follow the law and go through the procedures and not make a skeptical, oh, ACAB. Look, I could tell you a lot of shit I don't like. Like, on the one hand, people are like, yeah, fuck police. On a personal level, like, yeah, I get it. You know, the cops can be real fucking assholes. And the system, the police system, yeah, fuck that, right? There's no need for the police system to be defended. Yeah, city cops, thuggish gangsters. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Wholeheartedly agree with that. And even in small towns, policing as it exists should be eliminated. The existing police should be eliminated, right? In a ideal scenario or a post-revolutionary scenario, should be replaced with militias. The police should be replaced with people's militias. But that doesn't mean you should be going out of your way to antagonize the police. It's just not smart, and it's not a good idea. Okay? If police are going to make an enemy of you, that's inevitable, so be it. But don't go out of your fucking way to do it. Don't go out of your way for an ideological reason to just antagonize when you're working in a small town or something, when they're not all bad. Not all of them. That's a nuclear bomb, and people are not ready for it, right? The relationship police have to, like, minorities and shit in minority neighborhoods, I totally get it. I totally understand. I totally understand why in some black neighborhoods, although not all of them from what I see, but in some at least, or even the majority maybe, they really hate the police because of the way the police act. Yeah, I that's completely legitimate. But I'm just saying, if you're in a white working class small town and you're going to go do work there, why the fuck are you going to cast the first stone and antagonize police? I don't get it. So, nobody's ready for this kind of thing because it's like, because they think, listen, that's the FBI is a different story. You know, FBI is a different story. The FBI has always been an anti-people organization. But even the FBI doesn't do all bad. You know, the FBI going after like child abusers and shit, I don't have a problem with that, you know? But still, you know, overall, we're against the FBI, we're against the CIA, we're against the federal agencies. But you know, being a communist is about being responsible, having a sense of responsibility. There is no need to straight up just antagonize police in a small white town that would otherwise not have a problem with you. MIG, let's go! Oh! Yeah, you can expect police to give you shit or fuck with you. Prepare for it in a sense. When I say prepare for it, I mean, like, don't get your hopes up and just assume, you know, you're not gonna be hassled. Don't be out here thinking police are gonna be the vanguard of any movement. But, you know, leftists will go to a small town and they'll just straight up try and start shit with the highest law of the land, the sheriff or some shit. Yeah, that's such a smart strategy. It's so fucking stupid, you know? This is not universal, by the way. It's not a universal thing. It's not a universal thing. But, you know, remember 2020 was so fucking stupid how leftists were. Like, you know why I can say shit like this? Because the PSL will disagree. The Party of Socialism and Liberation will disagree. Parties like that. Pegasus, let's go! But then, when you watch the People's Forum and you watch 3 unvaxxed, unmasked people from New York walk in there and start protesting the People's Forum, immediately they called the police. So I'm trying to say, leftists at the smallest grievance call the police. Like, immediately. They always do. It's an incredible level of hypocrisy. It's crazy. You want to have as little enemies as possible, and the political nature of the police varies by the town. You know, the FBI, the federal organizations don't vary. Police do vary by the town. Have a nuanced view on this thing. Have a nuanced view on that matter, because a lot of white suburban leftists are looking at what, you know, police abuses in minority neighborhoods and shit. Like, oh, that gives me an excuse to be an antisocial scumbag in my own hometown and, like, you know, LARP that I'm ACAB and fuck the police and, you know, it's always also this kind of small town thin blue line idea. We should appropriate that and add a new twist on it. We should say they crossed the thin blue line. You know, when Americans are dying because they can't get health care, isn't that a blue line that got crossed? When fentanyl is ravaging American communities, isn't that a thin blue line that's already been crossed? When there's police corruption and police gangs, isn't that a thin blue line that's been crossed? We need to reassert a new line. A thick red line. That sounds phallic. Never mind. But you get it, right? You have to understand the psychology behind this stuff. You have to understand the psychology behind why people, they're like, yeah, it's real chaos. And I know leftists like to intellectualize shit. Leftists are kind of like, no, it's a system of whatever. Sure. Sure, you can say that in your university. But, you know, when you realize how much drugs and alcohol and nihilism can just make people turn into like crazy killer clowns, and it's very easy for everyone to just lose all morals, just start killing, and real chaos is real. I feel like leftists don't understand that. I'm not talking about chaos in like some philosophical sense. I mean it in like the common sense way. Like, yeah, when order breaks down, it's not pretty. People are getting raped. People are getting murdered. Children are getting killed. Elderly people are getting killed. And it's real. It's not, there's no like political meaning. There's no system behind it. It's real chaos. A real breakdown of human meaning. That's very real. And I feel like people really underestimate that. So, on the one hand, thin blue line stuff is misguided. It's misguided because it doesn't understand how the thin blue line has already been crossed, right? And it ends up being this kind of like this hypocritical defense of the status quo. But on the other hand, you are naive as fuck if you don't understand. There is actually a line. Like, there is a fucking line separating order from chaos.